Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. My name is Ace and I have got a review video here for you as I will be reviewing the C920, a Logitech HD webcam, which is quite amazing and I've had my eyes on it for quite some time. Now, the people over at Logitech have been able to send me one for review purposes and I'm quite impressed with the webcam, and I will explain to why that is. Now, as you can see, I won't do an unboxing video. Actually, I'm using the webcam already to make a video about the webcam itself, some meta stuff right there. But besides the webcam in the box and some paperwork, there's nothing really else, so that would be a very silly unboxing video. I'll keep it over here though so you can look at it, and that's pretty much it. So before we go into the features and comparing the webcam to my previous webcam, the Logitech 9000 Pro, as well as the microphone in the webcam to my standalone condenser microphone, I have to explain a few things. Currently, I'm working in a low light environment, which means the webcam has to compensate for that. And as you can see, it does a wonderful job at it. I'm quite impressed how well the webcam compensates or can compensate for the lack of light, because I have no lights on right now. The only lights that are on in my room is the sun. And I don't have a window right there. I don't have a window right there, back or in front of me. The window is actually above me, so I don't have any direct light in this particular corner of my room that can help the webcam get a better quality. So it's all compensated by the webcam itself, and I'm quite impressed by that. So if you are working with a poor light setup as myself, you don't have to be afraid of the webcam not working. Now, if I had a proper light setup, then the webcam quality would be even better, if you can imagine that. Now, on top of that, I'm also watching from a perspective of a YouTube content creator as well as a Twitch broadcaster. And with that in mind, my eyes fell on this webcam and I have been not disappointed in the slightest, as well as the people that have been able to see this webcam live in action on my live stream. And if you want to do that yourself, I will put a link below for that. But the people that have seen it already have said nothing but positive things about it. So definitely worth it for live streaming alone already. Now, let's take a look at the webcam design to begin with. On the screen right now, you should be able to see it's a very, very neat, very slick design. Very basic as well, yet still pretty badass. It's very wide, not very big in height. It has a very cleanable lens. It can be locked onto pretty much everything, on every monitor, on laptops, on tables even, courtesy of the mechanic, the click mechanic of the webcam itself, if you will. And also the color speaks for itself as black. And one personal preference of mine, the LED light that goes on when you are recording. Normally that's red, because red indicates recording usually in the industry. But for this webcam it's blue, and my favorite color is blue. And I'm quite happy with that. You can even say that you can color me excited. Yeah, that's a bad pun. So directly, let's move on to the features of this webcam. Starting off at the quality on which this webcam can record. 1080p, 30 FPS, done. Highest quality possible, that's all you need in any webcam to begin with. If you are looking to get 1080p or even higher resolutions at 30 FPS or more FPS beyond 30 FPS for 1080p, you are thinking about either very, very expensive webcams, which are not worth it, or straight up professional cameras, which makes me wonder why you would need them. Because if you think about it, 30 FPS is all that you need. And because YouTube streams videos at 30 FPS. Encoded streams on Twitch are 30 FPS. So 30 FPS is all you need, and this webcam pulls it off on 1080p quite nicely. There's a lot of webcams out there that say HD, and they can obtain HD quality, quote unquote, but it suffers the frame rate, which means, for example, in my previous webcam, to be able to obtain 720p on the live stream, it had to go down to 15 FPS. Now, if I was streaming on 30 FPS, it requires the keys to be duplicated to be able to not get a black screen in the webcam, which means quality and smoothness degrades. Now, I'm streaming on 60 FPS, so on a 15 FPS camera, you can already see how slow the webcam actually is. Now, this is 30 FPS, and it's super smooth, because going from 30 FPS to 60 FPS on a webcam like this, with this quality, you can barely notice it. And that's kind of amazing. It's kind of a giant improvement, and I'm quite happy with that, which is also why I'm so excited about this webcam. Moving on to the next particular thing about this webcam, which is that you can take pictures with it. That kind of speaks for itself. but it takes pictures up to 15 megapixels, which is slightly software enhanced, so keep that in mind. But on top of that, you can actually make video, at least pictures, on a tripod. Hell, you can even make recordings on a tripod, because this particular webcam, as you will be able to see on the screen right now, is tripod ready. So for example, if you like to take pictures and you have a webcam but you don't have a professional photo camera, but you do want to work with a tripod, have a laptop for example with you, or at least are working close to a computer, and bam, there you go. You can directly take high quality pictures and make sure that everything is stationary on the tripod like a professional. So kind of a unique feature, definitely worth it, and definitely opens up some doors for people that like that. I didn't even know this unique feature was implemented to this webcam because I wasn't looking for it, but I'm actually quite happily surprised by it, to say the least. Moving on to the next thing, which comes down to the quality a little bit. The optics that the Logitech webcams use are from Carl Zeiss or Carl Zeiss, I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce it in English, which are very nice lenses, very nice optics, which allow you for some decent focus, some very amazing focus, which also requires, at least results in some amazing quality, of course. Now, if you had better light, it works a bit easier, but even in poor light environment, you can see how well it works, so quite impressed with that. On top of that, this webcam has stereo microphones, or has a stereo microphone instead of a mono microphone, which is nice, which means better quality sound for those Skype calls if you don't have a headset or a standalone microphone, but you can definitely pick up a little bit too much noise if you don't watch out with that, which you will see when we compare the audio with that. Now, having that said, the last thing and the most important thing if you are a content creator, which is why I'm quite happy with this, and also if you don't have an amazing CPU or a good computer basically, this webcam can still be a valuable or even a valid option for you, because on this box right here, not sure if you guys can see that, I'm not currently in autofocus, so if I were to get really close to you, it would just blur out. Let's actually see if I can actually adjust that manually. There you go. As you can see, it says H.264 codec. Now you may ask yourself, that seems a bit silly. It really isn't, because this webcam has a built-in compression system, which means you don't have to worry about your CPU having to compress anything. Normally, in the old webcams especially, your CPU has to compress the video format before it can go to Skype or anything, because it's just too damn big. Now the webcam does it, so even if you don't have a top-of-the-line computer and you want to still have very nice 1080p quality recordings or Skype calls, you can do that without any kind of hassle, because the compression is not pushed onto the CPU but on your webcam, and that's amazing. It's a very smart move by Logitech, because it also still allows people to, with poor PCs or lesser PCs, I'm going to say poor PCs, that's just bad, but lesser PCs, to still enjoy high quality video footage, because it's easier to get a very nice webcam than it's to get a very nice computer. Now, having that said, I think we're pretty much done with the features, and you can definitely see why, as a content creator, I'm quite happy with it. Also, the codec is the same codec that is used for a lot of videos on YouTube, if not all videos on YouTube, including some Twitch production related quality issues, or just quality codecs, I mean. Because there's no issues with the codecs then, because nothing conflicts, nothing has to be recompressed or re-encoded, because all the compressions that I use are already H.264 or 64, and I'm quite happy with that, if you can understand that. Now, having that said, it's time for some comparison. Now, right now, I have been using the C920 in low light for quite some time. You have been enjoying the quality that it gives you. Now, having that said, let's move to my Logitech Pro 9000, which runs at 720p at 15 FPS on a good day. So let's jump to that right now. Alright, now we are recording on my Logitech Pro 9000, my previous webcam, and as you can see, the quality difference already is noticeable, to say the least. Now, what we can tell from this is, one, this webcam doesn't run at a 30 FPS. On top of that, it also handles the light a lot worse, or the lack of light I should say, in comparison to the 920. So definitely a good choice for me to get the 920, considering I'm working with a not a proper light setup. Now, not to say that the webcam that I'm currently using is bad, But you have to understand that it's a very old webcam as well. So for the time that it came out, it was a pretty solid webcam, but you know, technology evolves, and well, you get this difference, of course. So this is unscaled, so let's scale it up to 1080p, which will increase pixelation, I suppose, but then you can definitely see in great detail that this particular webcam is currently lacking in every single department, to say the least. And we're back. So as you can definitely tell, there's a huge difference in quality right there. Scaling or not scaled, it's just impressive. And if you watch the live stream, you can even be more amazed at it, to say the least. Now, moving on to the audio comparison, what's the word I'm looking for? We're gonna compare audio, because the audio on the webcam is stereo. And right now I'm working with a condenser microphone, the AT2020, from a reasonable distance. I could get very close to it, make the sound very rich and such. But I don't do that because otherwise live recordings become a bit iffy. Having that said, you have been able to listen to the AT2020 for quite some time now. Let's listen to, of course, the integrated microphone in the C920. Alright, the sound that you are hearing right now is the C920, and the first thing that you will notice is that the sound seems bigger. At least the room that I am seems bigger, and this is because the stereo microphone, even though it's pretty solid quality, picks up sound from the entire room. This is not a condenser microphone. If you want to sound very rich, if you will, and not as hollow as you perhaps hear me now, you have to invest in perhaps a headset with noise cancelling, for example, even though this particular webcam, I believe, also has noise cancelling. And this is the sound of the AT2020 condenser microphone. Now I'm going to make a very key point, so listen up. You don't have freedom with a condenser microphone unless you really start shouting. With the stereo microphone on the C920, you can move around and the quality doesn't really change and you're still very audible. With a condenser microphone, you're locked to a specific location. Now right now, I'm very close to my regular position. Well, I am in my regular position, and I'm going to get very close to my microphone, and you can directly start to hear that the sound becomes very rich. But the moment I stand up and get to the side, I am not audible properly anymore. I have to actually start raising my voice to get some kind of a wavelength shown on my recording program for audio. Now, if I walk through my room, I actually have to shout even harder to still get some kind of recording response from my program, because the condenser microphone does not pick up the audio properly unless I get back into my regular position so that everybody can hear me properly and I don't have to raise my voice like a madman. So the key difference is freedom between the AT2020 and, of course, the C920 microphone. The overall quality of this webcam is impressive. The price range, absolutely acceptable these days for such a quality and such a low light. A lot of streamers, professional streamers, use this webcam as well with a proper light setup and a green screen, and that key looks amazing if you do it right. So overall, I am quite impressed with this webcam. I highly recommend to get this webcam if you're looking for a proper looking HD webcam that is just giving you all kinds of awesomeness. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you have any questions, comments for that as well. And yeah, that's it. That's all. And take care.